Very special speaker, but like any good host, I'm going to make you wait. So you're going to have to listen to me first of all. I still believe I'm going to share some really great stuff with you guys tonight. Really share something important and something that I'm very passionate about for business owners. So although I wear many hats, there's something that I just keep getting drawn towards and it keeps actually finding me, is people seeking me out to say, Stu, you guys seem to have it all. You know, you've got the perfect life, you've got the perfect family life, and your business is booming. How do you do it? How do you manage everything together? And it all comes down to lifestyle. It's the choices that you make, I believe, sets up not only your life, but it also sets up your business. So that's what I want to share with you tonight. So hopefully everyone's cool with that. So this is a question that, believe it or not, a lot of people actually don't have the answers to. What do you want from your life? What is it that you actually want? Now, it's different for everybody. Everyone might be thinking, I want more money, I want more this. It's generally very generic answers that come up. So it's freedom, choice, money. Do you want to be able to travel? I think most people in the room say, when you say travel, yeah, love to go and see the sights. We come down to then, who thinks having relationships, great relationships, are important? It's a big thing. So that can stem from relationships with yourself, relationships with your partner, and if you're single, relationships with your family, friends, anyone else that's out there. But if you don't have that great relationship, and it starts with yourself, nothing else is going to flow on well with your business and with your personal life. So it's something that we do need to spend a lot of time with. And spiritual connection, that's something that up until probably 12 months ago wasn't on my radar. I've never been a spiritual person. I never sort of looked to explore that area. But it's something that if you're just open to seeing what else is around there, you might find some answers that you're actually looking for in a very interesting way. And contribution. A lot of people in business want to be able to contribute to society or to their clients or to just something else a little bit more than just what you have done when we've been at a job. So if you're just at a job, you're going there, you're just working for somebody, what are you actually contributing to? It might be the success of the company, might be a few other things. But it's really, when you come into business, I think once you really start to understand that you can contribute to the world in a lot greater way, that you really become very, very passionate about what you're doing and the work doesn't seem hard anymore. That's the biggest thing. When you're at a job, work can seem really hard, really difficult. Now, if I was to ask everybody, nearly everyone in the room's got a business yet? When you started the business, did you think it was going to be easier or harder than the job you had?
Oh, easier.
Yeah. That's most of what people say. They think it'll be easier. Who thinks it is bloody easier? A lot of heads shaking the other way. You know what? It's not. But if you're passionate about it, it can be if you do it the right way. I hear so many people that have said, I'm going to go into business because I'm going to have more freedom, more time with my family, a better lifestyle. But you know what? Those 80-hour days, the 80-hour weeks at the start of your business, is that a better lifestyle to what you've left? Your 40 hours, punch in, punch out, go home, don't even think about it. I came from a retail industry where I was managing staff. I could just leave and I would go away and I wouldn't even think about it. Had other managers that would be always checking in with their staff and everything. I could just detach and walk away. But when it's your own business, you can't walk away, can you? You've got to be, you feel as though you've got to be there all of the time. And that's what I see a lot of people in the early to mid stages of business feel as though they've just got to be available all of the time. And that's not lifestyle. One of the things I'm passionate about is actually creating your lifestyle and then actually building your business around that. Decide what you want. So that's just a really important thing I wanted to get you to think about. What do you want from your life? So what I'll just share with you tonight is a couple of tips on how you can switch from business to family mode and do that pretty quickly. If there's anyone that works from home like we do, it can be very hard to say, okay, work's now stopping, business time stopping, family time's coming in. Where do you find that? Now that can be when you're talking to your partner or especially with if you've got young children around like we do. How to get more support than you imagine. So if you're in business yourself and your partner or the other person in your significant others in your life aren't on board with you, how you can actually start encouraging them to come on board as well. And then how to prioritise what's important and what's not. Because we often get caught up in thinking that everything's important and the truth is it's not. Some things aren't important if you want to live the lifestyle. So the reasons why the business or the relationship fails. So obviously what you focus on is what you get. So if you've left your job, you're with your business, you're focusing 100% on your business, what's going to start to get left behind? Normally it's relationship with yourself and with the other people around you. And it can be really destructive. And I've just had another conversation with another person today that's come seeking help because their relationship is basically busted up because all he was business, 100%. And he just couldn't be aware that there are other things going on in his life. And this guy's got a young family, and it's a really distressing conversation that we had to have. But you only focus on things when they're broken. When do people go to marriage counsellors? They go when their relationships is already screwed. When you stop smoking, when the doctor tells you you're going to die. That instantly you stop, you do it then. There's got to be a reason why you actually do it. So you've got to come up with what that is and just have awareness about what your situation is. Awareness is something that humans are blessed with, but we don't use it enough. We don't sit there and just look at what's my actions, what's it going to influence? Who else is going to be affected by what I'm doing? What are my kids going to think of this? So you just got to have the awareness about what's there. Obviously, if you're focusing on your business, you're not going to be present. So when you need to have that time that you can connect with people, connect with your partner. And you really do feel as though, oh my God, this is just too hard. Do I go back to a day job? Do I just go back to something that I know I can do as a breeze? And that's a question where a lot of people have been asking lately. Stu, I've been in business now 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. Do I have to go back to a job? Say, well, no, you've just got to make some decisions about where you want to go. Who here finds it hard to switch off from business? You feel as though you're running all of the time. There's got to be something that you can do to switch off, and there is. It took me a long time to discover how to do it, but the first thing you've got to do, and this is about creating the lifestyle that you want, you've got to have a start and a finish time. You must say at some stage, this is when I'm going to start working, and this is when I'm going to stop. And when I stop, that's it. I don't reopen the computer. I don't go and do something else. I've stopped for the day. You've got to put some boundaries around it. We love to now, so you're not starting the next morning off really worrying what to do, commit your task, write them down. We got this from Mary Kay's list, if anyone heard of the $30,000 list. Basically, write down 6 things the night before you go to bed, get them out of your head, get them onto paper, have them there, not on your computer, actually have them written down on a bit of paper, and it really helps you get a great focus that when you can start the next day really fresh. And you're not then thinking about them all night. Definitely don't reopen your computer. I still won't forget, maybe 2 years ago, our business was growing very rapidly, and Natasha, being the work demon, the business demon that she is, she found it very hard to just not open it back up. What if an email's come through? What if I need to help this person? But you're not helping that person if you're always available to them, and you're certainly not helping yourself. You start to encourage people to use you whenever. If you don't have any boundaries around what you're doing, you're never going to be able to say no. And that's one of the worst things to do in business, continually say yes to everything, whereas you've got to just say, step back, is this going to benefit me? Is it going to benefit others? Is it going to have a good result that I want to have? Now this is another great thing. When we come up, we've got an office downstairs. A couple of you have been there if we're working down there. When we come up, before we go up, we try to introduce a thing as literally call it the 2 minute of crazy, whatever it might be. But to break your state, to stop yourself from just coming up, because we've got little kids, and some of us know we've got a almost 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. And if we come up in work mode, hey daddy, what are they going to think? They're going to associate what you're doing with a negative in their mind. Yeah, and you don't want the kids to start realising that, because they're going to have the same beliefs. We've all got beliefs that have been developed through our childhood and as it's gone along. So if people are working really hard and constantly feeling the need to be busy, it might be that they're trying to honour someone. They might have had a mother or a father or someone in their life that was really busy. And you've got to be able to break the cycle. If you have the awareness and say, okay, that's maybe what I'm doing, you've got a lot more of a chance to actually stop the behaviour. And that's an important thing to do. So we just stop. We shut the computer, and it doesn't matter what you do. It might be you sing your favourite song, you put a radio on, you just do something which is going to change your state. I've had somebody that wants to slap themselves around a little bit, that's their change state. It's whatever you can do to actually just take yourself to a different place. So then when you're then going up and you want to then connect with your family or your children, whoever it might be, you're going up there in a really good position to do so. You've got to then make sure that you're communicating. This is what I spoke about at the start. If you've got a partner or somebody that's not on board with you in the business, and a lot of people, they might have their partners off at a job, and they come home and say, well, what have you been doing all day? You know, the house is a mess, you could have done that. They don't realise what it's like to be in business, and things do come up. So you've got to share it with them. Don't just say, oh, I was busy, I was doing this. Actually communicate with them. That helps get your lifestyle, the relationship part of your lifestyle on track. And it's something that we don't do. So I'm not a relationship expert. I've done a lot of work on ourselves, and Natasha and I, what we do. And one of the things that we were told, and now I share it with everybody, is make sure you're spending a minimum 5 minutes every day actually just having a conversation. Turn off your bloody phones, have your computer away, turn the TV off, and actually when you talk, actually look at each other. You know, eye contact's gone in today's world, because you know what we're all doing? We're looking at our bloody phones. We're all looking at what else is there. Where are we going to get the significance from? Is it from Facebook, someone liking our post? Is it from an email? Whereas if we don't actually just sit there and be present with our partner, you're never going to be able to have that relationship that you want to have. So just do that and just see what happens. If anyone's in a relationship here, just actually look at them, and you'll find, you might, if you haven't done it for a while, you might actually find your partner go, is everything okay? You know, like what are you looking at? And it can be a really empowering thing. So just switch everything off. You've got to make a commitment to do that. And we call it our tea time, and it'll just be a 5-minute chat. And if you're both in business, try to not talk about business. It's going to come up because you both generally live and breathe it, and you're very passionate about it. But actually speaking for the guys, speak about what you actually feel about stuff, not just about the facts and figures about things. If you actually open up and almost become vulnerable, you'll actually find that you'll get an even deeper connection. And connect any way that suits. So you don't have to hold each other's hands and be all lovey-dovey if that's not the type of people that you are, but you've got to at least have that connection, whereas everything else is a secondary to the most important thing that you're going to be doing. Also, ask yourself, what is the cost of you continuing on this same way, of not changing anything that you're doing? How are you going to go in another year? Are you going to be able to sustain what you're doing? Is it something that you're going to be able to do for the rest of your lives? Is your relationship going to hold up? What are your kids going to think when you're going up? They're the things that you've really got to think about. So you've got to take stock. There's about the awareness again, guys. Take stock of the current reality. And if you know, we all know in the back of our heads, we pretend we don't know, but if we all know that something's not right, ask the question. Start working out what it is. Because you're going to find that once you get yourself sorted and you start coming from a place of heart, your business and everything else is going to start to improve as well. I know that all you guys want business tips, so although this seems very personal, it all connects. Because my biggest thing is, if your life is not right, your business will not be right. Okay? People will see, especially those people that are, if you're selling yourself, people can see through you a mile away if you're not congruent with what you're doing. So you've really got to make sure that that's right. And are you risking your health? That's another thing. Are you just people that are working at home? Are we not moving at all? Are we just not getting up and walking? Are you risking your health? Talk about your challenges. And then, as I said about the awareness, start making some basic changes. As humans, it's very hard for us to change a lot of things about us very quickly. It's ingrained in us that that's just the way we are. I can't change it. But you can if you change your actions. Because if you change your actions, you're going to change your results. If you don't change the actions, you're kidding yourself thinking the results are going to get any different. They're not. The results won't change. And remember why you're doing it. Why did you do this business? If you've said you've done it for lifestyle and you're not getting any closer towards the lifestyle that you want to have, say, well, why did I do this? What was it? And sit down and write it out. Write down what it is that why you're doing it. And if you're in a relationship, have that conversation with your partner. Why did we start this? Why are we doing it? And what have we deviated from to get to the position that we're currently at the moment? Now, this is a big one. What's important? So, you're new in business, you've been talking to somebody, it's 9 o'clock at night, you're finished off for the day. Is an email that comes through important to check? If you say it's important that you've got to be available and all of the time, you're going to believe it. Nothing's important unless you say it's important. So is that then coming up and having time with your family or your kids more important, or is it doing the business? Ask yourself what it is. Is that one client worth the end result of you disconnecting from your family and then possibly not being able to serve that client, or then the next ones that are going to be coming in? You've got to make that decision. And everything can wait. And just make sure you're wary. I'll put that up there. Make sure you're wary of procrastinating on certain things. You're just being busy for the sake of being busy, which I also see a lot of people doing. If you're still on your computer at 10 o'clock at night, trust me, you're not being effective. You think you are, you're pushing through, you're saying you're going to do this, whereas just one little thing that you can do, and I'll share this tip, it can be one thing to do to save an hour a day. Give yourself a finish time. Everyone remembers back to if you were employed, when is the most productive you are in your job? To me, it was the day before I went on holidays, because I needed to have everything done before I went away. I had to have deadlines met. So if you give yourself an actual finish time, so if it's normally you're still on the computer at 10 o'clock at night, make it 9 o'clock. Just do that, and you will find that you will not lose one thing between 9 and 10 o'clock at night if you actually do this. Your brain is going to go, I've got a deadline and I've got to do it. And you'll put time pressure on yourself, and you'll find that you're not just then going to be sitting there, I'll just send this email, oh, what's on Facebook now? Oh, who liked that comment? Just make sure, be effective with what you're doing. It's a very important thing to do. And also ask what meaning that your kids or partner is going to give it. So how are they going to feel if you're continually showing that the business is much more important than they are? What are they going to grow up believing about you? You've just got to share it and communicate with them, and that will really help you. Time out. When's the last time that you've done something for yourself? Can anyone tell me, do you regularly go and take a break? Do you take half a day off? Do you go and have a massage? Do you go and catch up and have drinks with the boys? Or do you feel at that time you have to work on your business? I know what I used to do. I had to work on the business. Those things can wait. But they can't wait. Because you know what started happening? People that would ask me to play golf all of the time, they stopped asking. People that used to say, come around and have big, they stopped asking because you keep saying no. If you say no several times, the people are going to say, I won't bother you, and you lose this connection. And for guys with this awful depression and with these things that are going on in our lives, you've got to have some form of connection with other men. It's really, really important. You know, I'm in a female-dominated industry. There are a lot of women around that we have this connection with, so you've got to find some people that you can just connect with, even if it's just a, hey, you know, how you going? I need a little bit of help with this. You've got to ask for it. So really make sure that you're taking some time out. And you need to communicate that with your partner. You need to say, I'm not going off to do this because I want to spoil myself. You tell them that it's an important and integral part of your own health and your own well-being and your benefit to live the life and the business that you want to have. So to create the lifestyle, some simple tips. Obviously in this 20 minutes or half an hour, I'm not going to be able to share everything. There's so much involved in this. But just some tips I wanted to give you. Plan your weekly, actually diarise it. If you look at your diary and it's chock-a-block, which most of us have, you're never going to find that time for date night, for going out to the park with the kids. Whereas if you schedule it like a normal appointment, yes, it's not romantic if you schedule date night, but is it better that it happens and it's scheduled than it doesn't happen at all? I know what most people think. It's better that you do it. You can become more spontaneous as you get closer to the lifestyle that you want to live, because you're going to have more abundance of time. That's where it's all leading towards. Define your work hours. Really set yourself a start and a finish time. Also, be aware is, do you get up and do you stuff around and procrastinate and don't start till 10 o'clock? Are you using that time efficiently? Whereas then you might not have to do it at the end of the day when your partner or your loved one or your kids are back. Make sure you're starting on time. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever it might be for you. Those with part-time businesses, same thing. Just set your hours. It's not for people that are fully in business. This doesn't have to be the same. Make sure you set some time. Do implement that 5 minutes of chat with your partner. Just do it. Make it part of everything that you're doing. You're just going to find that you're going to be able to, once you build it up, you're going to find that you're going to be able to connect really well. Be present with your partner. Make sure that you're there, you're looking at them, you're talking to them. And then one great little tip, well, I know this is what Nat did to me about 4 years ago when she first started. Just start giving me a few little things to do. That gets them more on board and connected with what you're actually trying to do and trying to achieve. Whereas you won't feel connected unless you're actually sharing a little bit about what you're doing. And it takes courage, but actually ask for feedback. Ask, how have I been this week? Very hard thing for humans to do is to actually say, admit that we might not be doing something well, and actually just say, can you give me some feedback? Am I present? Was I doing the things that I said I was going to do this week? And my final thoughts, guys. This is a picture of me with the family over in Bali not too long ago. You'll never regret spending time and sharing experience with your loved ones, but you will regret working too much. Okay? Thank you very much for listening, everybody.